Hey guys, we are doing language class, page 152 today. So if you don't have language, I'll go and get it out. You should have taken your language test yesterday. I hope you did a good job with that. Looking over on page 152, look at the top of the page, that box, purple box, and it has ER and EST. Now, you may have learned this last year in second grade, I'm not sure, but we'll go over it really quick. So we have ER at the end of a word, so like if we have the word short, if I have ER at the end, it would be the word shorter. So it would be like, she is shorter than he is. So I'm comparing two people, so she is shorter than he is, that's two people. So if I said shortest, I would be putting EST at the end of the word. EST means I'm comparing three or more people. So I might say he is the shortest person in his family. His family is going to have more than just him and one other person. It's going to be him, maybe mom and dad, maybe a sister or a brother. So it could easily be like 5 people or more, maybe less than 5 people, but still that's 3 or more people. He is the shortest person in his family. So make sure we're keeping that in mind. If it ends with ER, we're comparing 2 things. If it's EST at the end, we're comparing 3 things or more than 3 things. Okay, continuing on, we're looking at Think A. There's some more in that box that I didn't read. It's kind of a bigger block of text underneath where it's just going over the ER is 2, EST is 3. If you haven't read that already, I want you to pause the video and go ahead and read that block of text for me. Okay, so when you're finished reading, let's go ahead and look at Think A. These are the ones that are in your book, and I wanted to go over them on the board so that it's kind of when we're going over it and doing stuff with the book and practicing it all at the same time. So let's look at the word warm. Easily, the word warm, if I'm talking about maybe 2 or more things, comparing them to see which one is more warm, I'm going to say warm-er. So it's just the word warm with an ER at the end. So go ahead and just write that there. Warm-er. And what do you think we're going to write over here? If we write warmer right here, we're going to write warmest, right? So it's warm, warmer, warmest. Go ahead and make sure that's written down. Now we have the word nice. Now, when we write the word nicer, we're going to go nice, nicer, nicest. We're going to do something a little bit different. So we have the word nice and just adding ER. Now, here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to write the word nice, N-I-C-E, and then add ER. Because what happened when we did that? What is not right about this word? Right, there's 2 E's next to each other. There doesn't need to be 2 E's right there. So the way that we're going to look at it, we're going to still add ER, but we're going to take off the E at the end of the word and still add ER. Or if you want to look at it this way, we're writing the word nice but just putting an R at the end. It doesn't change what we're doing or how we're doing it, but it just makes sure that we're all doing it correctly. So we have nice, nicer. Go ahead and write what you think the word nicest would be. Use the same concept that we did right here. Write the word nicest right there. All right, you should have written it there. It should be N-I-C-E-S-T. So it's just the word nice with an S-T at the end, or nice with that E taken off and then E-S-T added to the end of it. So make sure that when we're doing that, and they gave an example in the book with the word large. When we write the word larger or largest, we take that E off and add ER or EST, so it's L-A-R-G-E-R or L-A-R-G-E-S-T. That's how larger and largest would be written. Same thing with nice, nicer, and nicest. So make sure we keep that in mind when we're writing these words. Let's also look at the word yummy. The word yummy has a Y at the end. We know if we were making a word plural that ends in Y, like the word fly, like an animal buzzing around, fly, F-L-Y. I'll erase this in a moment. F-L-Y, like the animal. If I were to say there is one fly or there are many flies, we would change the Y to an I and add ES. So it'd be F-L-I-E-S. So this is how we would change the from singular to plural. We're going to use that singular plural concept and do the same thing here with the E-R-E-S-T. So I have the word yummy. I need to write yummier and yummiest. See if you can figure out how we would be doing yummier and yummiest. Go ahead and take this opportunity and do that. All right, you should have done that already. Let's go ahead and write that. So we have the word yummy, Y-U-M-M, and instead of Y, we're going to change the Y to an, a Y to an I and add, here we're going to add E-R because we're making it yummier. The same thing with the word yummiest. We're going to do the same exact thing, except we're going to add E-S-T instead of E-R. So, Y-U-M-M-I-E-S-T, yummiest. All right, make sure we're keeping that in mind. So if we have a word that ends in Y, except for that A-Y, O-Y, or E-Y, the same with my plural words that end with Y, same exact thing. We're going to change the Y to an I and add ES. Next word, flat. So I have flat, flatter, and then flattest. That's what's going to need to be written. Make sure when we're writing this, we don't want to do flat, F-L-A-T-E-R. That's the word flatter, but what's wrong here? I have a vowel, a consonant, and a vowel. So this A would be making its long A sound. So this is not the word flatter anymore, it's flater. That's not a word. That's not what we want to have written. So I need to take my last letter of flat, that's T, and I need to double it. So it'd be F-L-A-T-T-E-R, flatter. So we have flat, flatter. Go ahead and write the word flattest. See if you can do that. All right, let's go ahead and do that. F-L-A-T-T-E-S-T, flattest. Make sure you have these written down and make sure they are correct in your book. That was Think A. We just did all of Think A together. Let's go ahead and take a look at Think B on page 152. Think B, we have number 1, today is cold, colder, or coldest than yesterday. When we're doing this section, we want to figure out how many things we are comparing to each other. So is it just the one singular thing? If it is, we just use the word cold. Is it 2 things that we're comparing? If it is, we're going to use that ER ending. And if it's 3 things that we're comparing, we're going to use that EST ending. So number 1, today, that's one thing, is colder than yesterday. That's another thing. So how many things are we comparing? Right, we're just comparing those 2 things, today and yesterday. So which word are we going to use? Cold, colder, or coldest? Right, we're going to use colder. So your sentence needs to say today is colder than yesterday. That's going to be the correct thing to have written there. I'll do a couple more with you, and then I want you to finish this page on your own. Number 2, that star is the brighter, or brightest star in the sky tonight. Well, think about, we have stars that are in the sky. How many stars are normally in the sky? Is it 1, 2, or 3 or more? Right, there's more than 3 stars in the sky. So we're going to use the word bright, the word brighter, or the word brightest. Which one of those? Right, we're going to use brightest because we're comparing 3 things or more than 3 things. That's the EST ending. It could be 3 things or more than 3 things, just like singular and plural. Singular is just 1 thing, plural is just 2 things or more than 2 things. Like if I say there's 1 teacher in a classroom, there's just 1. But if I can say there are students in the classroom, Now, I don't know how many students there are in a classroom all the time, but if I say students, I know that there's at least two, or there can be more than two. Same thing here. EST ending, we're comparing three things or more than three things. So make sure you keep that in mind when we're going through these sentences. So number two, we're saying the star, or number two, we're saying that star is the brightest star in the sky tonight. So make sure you have that written down. Number three, you're quite a bit taller, or tallest than your sister. Think about how many things we're comparing here. We're saying you, like you are, that's that your is a contraction, so you are quite a bit taller, or tallest than your sister. How many people are we comparing here? Right, just those two people. There's you and there's your sister. And when we're comparing those two things, are we saying tall, taller, or tallest? Right, we're just saying taller, middle one. So you need to have written you're quite a bit taller than your sister. Okay, I've done those first three with you. Finish up the rest of Think B, and Think A should already be done. Make sure you keep this fresh in your mind and review, because we're going to be doing a lot more with this later.